I'm going to take just a little time here to go over some details on this, my latest custom bike here, and how this custom bike became of an idea of a custom lowrider bike that I wanted to do of my past childhood when I was 13 years old. The idea came about 2-3 years ago to do that lowrider bike, and basically what I had back then was a Stingray frame, of course. I believe it was a 69 or 70 because I remember the dealer back then looked up the serial, and I had no clue what that meant. I thought it was just an idea of the bike that was in the back, and there's nothing on the front. But this one, yeah, because this is a 74, so it's up there. But anyways, and this bike came on Facebook Marketplace locally, and I told myself when I saw that, I go, well, hey, there's my frame there. It didn't look like this, of course, at all. It was made as a custom cruiser. It had the long wrap fenders, rear and the front, which I have up there in my attic. And it came with this seat. This is a Troxel seat, and it's in beautiful condition. I mean, it's soft and beautiful condition. Anyways, I said, well, there's my start. Of course, it had long handlebars. The only thing that it came with the bike was this 20-inch S7, and it's in pretty good shape. And I believe it's even center stamped. But anyways, the guy just made a custom cruiser for his kid. The kid didn't want it, so he put it up on Facebook Marketplace. And it was kind of blurry, the front end. I said, can you take a better photo of the Springer in the front? And that is a 20-inch vintage. It's a super deluxe or J33 Springer. Also, they sold them separate too. If you wanted, and back in the time, you wanted to buy the Springer. It was like maybe $4.95 or something like that. Anyways, so he took the photo, and I said, yeah. I said it was asking $360 for it, and I messaged him. I told him, would you take $300? And I give it to you right now. Oh yeah, okay. So we met up, and on Christmas Eve morning, and we start talking about it and stuff. And he does mainly cruisers, 26-inch, and custom cruisers and stuff. This was the first time he did something like a 20-inch model. The kid didn't like it, so. And he asked me, do you have any cruiser parts? I said, well, I have to look. I'm pretty sure I have two 26-inch, and I believe they're center stamp S2s. The chrome's a little dull, but it can be polished out. And I do have a vintage tank. It's a Schwinn tank. Probably off some 1950s 20-inch balloon bike I bought at a swap meet about more than 20 years ago. And I never used it. I cleaned it up and everything, and I put it away. I told him I have just those two items that I know of. He told me, would you part out with them? I said, yeah, but just give me a couple of days to figure out what I would want to sell it for. So, I paid him the $300, took the bike home. I had other parts at home, and I did have to get some stuff off auction at a very good price. So it really didn't cost me hardly anything to do this like this, except for a couple accessories I wish I would have kept. I had some ball lights before, but I got that one off John Hogger. Guy does beautiful work on parts restoration, plating, or not plating, but polishing. Anyways, so, and it had a coaster wheel, which was like a 97, 98, because it's a Shimano on the brake arm, which I used that wheel for my 98 ground up build. So all that, I had a lot of 1998 parts. So, and I had a 99 model, but I sold it, and I had the Apple one, which is over there. It says brand new, and I told myself, well, I'm going to build me a ground up 98 model. And that frame came locally too, and just south of me. But anyways, getting back to this, it had a coaster Shimano wheel, and I got a 3-speed wheel in beautiful shape off Bob Snyder on eBay with a good price, pretty much my budget price, and that was to build a blue band. But it's got the red hub shiner, but I can move it a little bit. It is a blue band. It's a blue band, and beautiful, restored condition, polished out. Got a good deal on that too. So had that laced to that wheel, and I got the hub in my display case. I believe it's dated 1966, Stormy Archer, and I just keep it for display because it's in beautiful condition. And as well as the rim, I polished it off myself. So, anyways, here we go. I'm gonna build myself. It's pretty much close to what I had back then, and anyways, going back to 1977 when I started the lowrider bike, like I said, I had the frame. I went to the Schwinn dealer. I asked him because he had a Stingray 20-inch with a Springer up there on the showroom high shelf. And as a 13-year-old, I had no idea what model it was. I just thought, well, it's a 20-inch Springer. It's got a 20-inch Stingray. It's got a 20-inch Springer. I asked him, you have anything like that? He looked at me and said, no. He goes, I just have parts. I got the spring, got the bolt, got the hardware, and maybe the crown. That's about it. Busted my bubble right there. Okay. He said, but there is an older man that comes in the shop, and he told my dad, he does try to sell me some parts. You might want to look him up. I'll give you his phone number, call him up. He might have something. So I did, and I called him up, and he said, just come around and see what I got. I go, I don't have a 20-inch, but I might be able to get one. So he said, give me a couple of weeks. So we went over there to find out where he lives, and I did go back a couple of weeks later. Actually, I called him, and he said, yeah, I got it. I got your 20-inch Springer. So we went over there, and he showed it to me. It was pretty much oxidized. The chrome was still clean. I mean, it was still in good condition, but it was oxidized. It needed to be, cleaned up. And he said he wanted $15 for it. And I said, oh my God. I said, I only have 10. And he just looked at me and rolled his eyes. And then my dad said, I got a couple Salem cigarette packs. Okay, kid. He tapped me in the head. You can have it. So, and there it is right there. I kept it all these years. It was on the lowrider bike for up until 1982. So I had it on there for like 4 or 5 years. Then I had it on a custom Junior 67 Stingray I did for fun. But I sold the bike, took the Springer off, and I had it in my my display for a long time. But when going back to 1977 up until 1982, when I got tired of riding the bike, I was in high school. I took the bike apart. I remember taking the fork off. I took the wheels off. What else I kept off? I took the lights, which they were Sears, what I call the poor man light. They're not like, well, they kind of look like this, but they're over there. I don't know if you can see it real good. I can actually show a photo. They do have the side amber, but it's a Sears. One's a combo, one is just a regular cell light. And I have 2 combo ones. I have one in the box. I put all that in a box, and with the Springer, with the fender. This is the original fender that I had on that lowrider bike. And I put everything in a box. And the front fender was this one. It's not the right fender. It was NOS at the time. The Schwinn dealer said it's probably a fair lady. But if you want it, I'll throw it in the package deal. Which he gave me 2 wheels. I still have them in that box. It's just a red band S2. I believe it's standard stamp too. And an S7 like this one in that box. And so he sold me the two wheels, the rear fender, that fender. He had another seat. It wasn't a Stingray seat. I believe it could have been a Troxel because it looks just like this, but it was black. And I believe they were gold. It could be gold and silver flakes in there. This one here, I think, is just silver glitter. But anyways, he sold me all that. What else he had? I think I needed. I had everything else. Um, and he sold me the mag sprocket. And I had a crank because when I got the frame, it came with a crank but no sprocket. And anyways, he sold me everything for like, I don't remember. I think it was like $25. Wasn't hardly anything. It seemed like a lot of money back then, but I paid him for that. Built my lowrider bike. The handlebars were kind of like this. This is a '66 handlebar. They call them I call it the fast back, sweep back, whatever you want to call them. But the handlebar I used was off of a '77 Murray Wildcat. It looked just like this. It had the handlebars kind of curved down like that. And the Wildcat I bought at Kmart back in, I guess that was back in early '77. Had to be like between after Christmas. I bought it at Kmart, but I took the handlebars off and I put longer handlebars on there, and because I thought it looked more cool with the tall handlebar with the long fork on there. So anyway, that was the Wildcat Murray. But I used that handlebar for my custom '77, or not custom. In '77, that custom Stingray I did, the lowrider, and it was a cool. I painted it. My dad's friend painted it black for me, and my Schwinn dealer did the decals for me in the chain guard too. He screened it. He had the screening board. He did everything for that, and that was a cool bike. But then, like I said, back in '82, I got tired of it. Took the parts off of it, boxed everything else, put it in the attic, and found the Springer back in 2006, I believe it was, up in the attic with that fender and that fender over here. And later on, I found the wheels. They were up there too. But anyways, getting back to this bike here, kind of did it the way I would have done it as a 13-year-old kid. One thing back then, these were around, but I never heard of them. This is the Mighty Mac rack. This is the NOS one. I love chrome. As a 13-year-old, I love chrome. Black and chrome look beautiful. And like I said, I just had the Sears light on there. This is a ball light got from John Hogger. Beautiful bike. A beautiful light he had on the show bike, I believe. So anyways, that's the story about this bike. It's a '74 custom Stingray, and I did it almost pretty close to period correct, except this chain guard. That's an accessory guard for this the mag sprocket, the Stingray mag sprocket. The fastback had the same design chain guard, except it has a longer bracket, because of the mag, the Stingray mag sprocket. This is or like a crate sprocket, whatever you want to call them, but this is the smaller version. So anyways, that's the story about this bike here, and I loved how it came out. And I mean, it's nice to have these little 20-inch Springer forks. I've had two of them in the past, but I sold them with my bike collection, so I just have that one, the one that's on the Super Deluxe, and of course that one. So anyways, that's the story about this bike here, and there's the price on it. Ha 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 ha. It's got a Stuart Warner 20-inch speedometer. I need to work with it because it might be dried up the grease in there, so I might have to use some non-flammable liquid wrench and then put a lighter to it and see if I can heat it up. And when I ride it, of course, I take this off. I just tie it here because I don't want that to snap off. I'm sure it'll work. It just needs to be probably frozen. It needs to be freed up a little bit. And this is the earlier Razor horn. It's just that one over there on the orange crate. I don't know if I can take a better video of it, but anyway, that one has the Schwinn logo on it. And so anyways, I'm happy with this bike. Getting ready to ride it pretty soon. Now that the weather is getting a lot more nicer. Okay. So, anyways, all right. Well, thanks for looking at my videos here. And I do want to point out, you ever want to get stuff like pedals redone? I mean, this one's polished out. Let me get a better. It's beautiful. I think those pedals came out in '72, but it's a '74, so it's pretty much to its era. And the white wall tires they're made by Doral. They just the cheater select white wall, and that's the same one too, but it's the brick pattern. So rideable tires, nothing to do with OEM because they're mega money and these bikes were made to ride. If I had OEM tires, I would just store them away and just use reissue tires. So, and one last note, I just called this the Schwinn Super Deluxe Stingray, my version. Haha.